Here is a Canonet QL17, the G-III QL with the 40mm 1.7 lens. This one is kind of special because unlike almost all of these that you see, this one was actually made in Japan. And this is the only one that says that I've ever had. And I believe this right here, this little dent, is because this top is actually metal. I think they're plastic on the ones that you normally see. This camera cosmetically has some issues. I can't tell exactly what's going on behind this window, but it looks kind of, I don't know. There's some kind of white stuff around the edges and whatever, I don't know. There's some kind of residue here too around the viewfinder window. The rangefinder seems to work. There's some issues with it. The shutter works here as we step down on the shutter speeds. When we get down to the slower ones, we'll start to see some hesitation, which means it's going to need some service. Looking pretty good down to 30th. Here's a 15th. That even looked okay. Here's that 8th. That sounds pretty good too. At a quarter of a second, there it's hanging up a little bit. Yeah. So, looks like it's good down to 1/8 of a second. Pretty good, but at a quarter of a second it got stuck. And the bulb setting, that seems to work okay. I did put some batteries in here, and just to prove that the aperture is working, you know, here I've got it stopping down somewhat. If I set this to a longer shutter speed, it should try to stop it down quite a bit more, and I see it does. If we stop this, run that down a bit more, and we block some of this light, there it stopped it down further. So I think that it seems like the metering is working somewhat, probably okay. The focus is smooth. The self-timer really doesn't work well. If you run that, you have to help it almost all the way back down, so I won't run that. If we look inside, as is usually the case with these, the light seal material is kind of bad. This doesn't look like the same kind of foam that I'm used to seeing in the others, but it still isn't ideal. It might work, but there's some residue here. So ideally that should be dug out and replaced. That can be done. The optics seem to look okay on the inside here, and because I have a battery in it that will not be with it at the sale, I was able to see the battery check light, though it won't show up here in these lights, I'm sure. Yeah, I can't make that show up. So anyway, that is this camera. Battery compartment is pretty clean, looks okay.